This week, Drew and I interview Brenda Scott, Texas brand ambassador, mother of 5, president of Wildfire Ladies Cigar Society, and distinguished Ruffian scout for the Texas chapter. Our topic, women in cigar culture, opinion and events, and Stogie Geeks picks up a new sponsor. And of course, Drew and I have some sticks of the week. It all starts right here on episode 306 of Stogie Geeks.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up.
And Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Confidence. Confidence isn't walking into a room with your nose in the air, thinking you're better than anyone else. It's walking into a room and not having to compare yourself to anyone in the first place.
That commercial always fires me up. Anyway, it is episode 306 of Stogie Geeks. I am here in G-Unit Studios in Warwick, Rhode Island. I am your host, Joe Hozempa. Super awesome to be here for episode 306. If you want to follow along, you go to stogiegeeks.com/306. You can catch all the show notes and links. And this week, Drew and I interview Brenda Scott. Super excited to hear about the distinguished Ruffians, but I'll read her bio first. Brenda is a Texas brand ambassador, mother of 5, president of the Wildfire Ladies Cigar Society, distinguished Ruffians for the Texas chapter. And we are going to talk about women in cigars and how it relates to the retail element of it as well. I want to get Brenda's take on her take on the industry, not only as a brand ambassador, and we'll get into the brand there. Stogie Geeks listeners should be familiar with the brand that she represents, and we're going to talk about the roles of a brand ambassador. Surprised a lot of places don't really have a lot of ambassadors here in the Northeast. They used to, so we're going to take her temperature and find out what it's like down in Texas. Maybe there's more brand ambassadors, because I think not only does a brand need a rep, but they also need cheerleaders on the retail side, and also people who are fans of the brand, because that builds top of mind awareness. But hey, what do I know? Anyway, I'm your host, Joe Hozempa. I am here in G-Unit Studios. We have live via Zoom or Skype. I have no clue yet. It's Drew. Oh, Zoom. We have live via Zoom. We have Drew, who's down in Bedford, Texas. Drew, how's it going?
Very well. It's very nice here in Texas right now. We're getting some weather from this storm down south, so the guys down there are getting 8 inches of rain from what we hear. But otherwise, Brenda and I have been hanging out the last week, and attending a couple events for cigars for the Warriors. We went to 2 shops this past weekend, and it was a blast. Got to meet a lot of people, including Eric Espinoza, and got to hang out down at Lakeford Cigars. It was just a very nice event. It's near and dear to my heart, because both of my dad and my father-in-law, they both served in the service.
That's awesome.
In the armed services.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that too, the Cigars for Warriors chapter.
Sure.
as a prequel there. I've had the opportunity to interview them in my radio tenure before here on Stogie Geek. Super awesome organization. Wonder how the FDA is gonna fucking try to screw that up too. But anyway, moving on.
Right.
Keeping it positive, right? Keeping it positive. My father is retired Navy and all of that stuff. But I want to welcome Brenda to the show. Brenda, how are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thank you.
Can we go right to Distinguished Ruffian Scout of the Texas chapter?
Sure.
I'm so intrigued. Like what is the Distinguished Ruffian Scout for the Texas chapter? Please tell me.
So a scout is someone who, like I organized the event that we had last weekend.
Okay.
And that was 2 events in 2 days. So help organize events and help also in membership, get other people members and spread the word. It's really more about spreading the word of Distinguished Ruffians and getting people to want to come join us.
What's the mission?
Mission?
Yeah, is that for the cigar industry, the Distinguished Ruffians?
Distinguished Ruffian is just for anybody,
gotcha.
to join. They're distinguished and they're also ruffians too. So it brings people together from all walks of life. We have chapters all over the world, not just in the United States. I mean, we have chapters everywhere, all over the world. So it's a lot of social media, a lot of Instagram posting of cigars and the patches. Everybody posts pictures of their patches and call people out and so forth. That we work a lot with Cigars for Warriors as well.
That's awesome. That's actually a great tie-in. The Cigars for Warriors is a very interesting organization. Having had family that was deployed and hearing stories, if they're able to talk about it and whatnot, it's not like they can just hop in a car and go to a cigar shop and enjoy enjoy the same freedoms that we have here there. Right. And so now when we ship them cigars, it's not only a little piece of home, but just the very act of lighting up a cigar and gives them a little bit of peace, hopefully mind, body, spirit peace for them to either clear their head or get themselves together for the task at hand. I think it's a super cool organization.
Well, from what I hear, it's the #1 requested item.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Number 1 requested item is cigars.
Yep. Cigars and probably socks. You know what I mean? And there you go. For sure. Because especially if you're doing a lot of walking or you're in situations that you don't have the luxury to call timeout. You definitely want to be able to at least kind of feel comfortable and stuff like that. So yeah, I've actually heard that is the most requested items because those MREs is just so damn tasty for sure. You know what I mean? They're good. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna take the liberty to look up more on the Distinguished Ruffians because I really think that when organizations come together and support another organization, it really acts as a catalyst for sure. There. So,
Definitely.
So what do you do on the retail side to help out the retailers? So if you were to represent that group and go into the retailer side, you would put the actual event together for them?
For a retail, now for our brand, or you mean for Distinguished Ruffian? What do you mean?
Either or. Like what? Take me through your process of starting an event and take the Stogie Geeks listener through that.
Well, there's different ones that I do. Distinguished Ruffian, I brought in some cigar companies to help out with the event. So we did PDR at Underground on Friday. And then last Saturday we had Eric Espinosa. He flew in from Miami.
Yep.
He's a very good friend of mine. And he is very involved with Distinguished Ruffian and also with Cigars for Warriors. So he came out and, we just did some cigar specials. Things like that. But I also help Kevin with Rockefeller. So I help him plan. So when he comes to Texas, which, stores he's going to go around to and events. He's done stuff with Wildfire with me before.
Yep.
He's been a sponsor and helped out and made some donations for that as well.
That's awesome. If you're really good friends with Eric Espinosa, tell him to get his rep to put his stuff in more cigar shops here in Rhode Island. because he's like in two, and I don't know if it's a northeast. I don't know if it's a north. And from my perspective, I travel to the forest part in Rhode Island. It's one town over from Connecticut, and I know Rhode Island's only 45 minutes long, but having grown up here, we don't like to be in the car for more than 10 minutes, right? So you know, it's like I make a pilgrimage, right? I drive a half hour to the cigar shop and whatnot, and I'm a super fan of the brand. Espinosa, I'm really getting into this stuff again there, and you know, definitely tell him that I was asking for him, and if he wants to, I'll tell him. And if he wants to come on the show, he certainly has a open mic for sure. Love to catch up with him. I know he hasn't been on since episode 100 something or other. So yeah, so it's been quite a while.
Yeah, it's about time then.
Yeah, it's about time to catch up and see what they've been up to and talk a little business strategy for sure. So yeah, if you could relay the message, that would be awesome. That would be super cool. You know.
Oh yeah. We have his ear, definitely. What I wanted to add was that this is one of the first events that I've been to that was kind of put together like this. And I'll tell you, as a first-time attendee, what I got for this was just to see the camaraderie of the Warriors operation, Cigar for Warriors operation, Eric Espinosa. To see his product, you know, he was out there just kind of engaging with all the attendees, whether they were the lounge's regulars or new attendees, or just someone like myself who was a first-time attendee there. And I thought it was kind of cool because he was interacting with everybody. The guys from Warriors Cigars were interacting. And what you take away from that situation was that everybody comes together. They all have similarities in life. They all have a loved one who's serving the armed forces or someone who's in a different part of the United States, and they talked about their cigar experiences with his brand, other brands. It was pretty cool to see that, you know, even though he was the featured cigar brand there for this event, but other people were you could just hear the conversations going on, and they were just talking about all the different.
We had groups from all over.
Yeah, they were talking about groups from Ireland, groups from the UK. You know, the far northwest United States. I mean, it was just very interesting to hear these conversations go on simultaneously in their little groups, and then they all come together and just kind of have camaraderie, you know, and discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Even outside of the cigar world, you know, if I'm walking to the P.O. box with my son and you know, you can always, you know, with the veterans got his hat on or anytime, I always thank them for their service, or if anyone here in the industry mentions that they've served and whatnot, you know, it just, there's a certain line of respect for sure. And there is a bond there. I mean, there is certainly a bond there that goes well beyond. Like, my father was retired Navy chief, right? And he had passed. He had passed in 2015, and we still talk to his close-knit group of friends from when I was little, and they were single, and my dad was married, and his friends, and they're geographically, one's in Virginia, one's in Marlborough, Mass. Another one is down just south of Virginia. So what's the state after Virginia? North Carolina? Is that North Carolina? Is that right?
North Carolina.
Yeah, right, yeah. Right. It's been a while since I was in a geography class, right? So yeah, so North Carolina, and it's like whenever they're in town, you know, my mom texts me and my brother, and we're like, oh, so and so's in town, and we always like, you really drop what you're doing, really, and just go and visit them, and it just bonds for life. Like, they've been to my high school graduation, they've been to my college graduation, they've been to my brother's high school and college graduation. Me and my brother are 10 years apart. He's 10 years younger. And, you know, they've been to my brother's police academy graduation. So, like, they've been to stuff for years and years and years, and they're so close. And that's just my immediate family, let alone, you know, some of the other stories that you would hear, and you have a common bond, because ultimately the family does pay the price for a loved one serving in the military, for sure, you know. Absolutely. It's
definitely
it's a cause near and dear to my heart, for sure. I've even went as far here in the Providence Metro to launch another radio show called the Veterans Digest, and it was on talk radio, and it did well for a while, but then other veterans groups wanted to kind of jump in, and they took it in another direction. But yeah, it's a super cool clause.
Nice.
And thank you for doing that and bringing those people together, because I do think it's important for them to have not only an appreciation event for them, right, or a sense of appreciation, like deep appreciation for what they're doing. And sometimes the tasks are not great, and sometimes the tasks cause a lot of sacrifice, not only for themselves but for the family, for us to celebrate what we do here on our everyday life. So hats out to any veterans, any Stogie Geeks veterans out there who have served, or your loved ones. It's certainly very close there too. I know Drew's working on getting Cigars for Warriors on the show here again, and looking forward.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that there. I'm on my side, have a bunch of veterans fans of the show, and I might do an APB and have them here in studio and kind of do a lineup and share some stories. And we're gonna have to carve out some time and do our own. I don't want to say like our own event, but our own online appreciative event for sure. So Brenda, hats off for doing that. Definitely.
No problem.
You have a question. Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I have a question for Brenda. So I wanted to ask you, what I was talking about more of, how did you get into the cigar culture? What got you into this? How did you become a brand ambassador? I mean, I don't know if you can share some light on that. And for other listeners in our audience who might be interested in that, like how did that come about? I mean,
well, and I found it's a common story too for women. Men got us cigars. Somebody that I was dating or whatever said, "Here, try this," and stuff with like a chocolate flavored cigar, but quickly went on to more. So I really prefer more of a full body cigar, maybe medium to full body, but I just really enjoy the whole cigar culture and that relaxation time it get, and the connections and networking with people everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm passionate about it, I like to learn about it. So the best way to learn about it is start getting involved with different groups, if you choose to. It's not for everybody. But then, I meet people along the way, cigar owners, brands, things like that. And Kevin and I just became really good friends. And I help him out with whatever he just, and I help Eric Espinosa out a lot as well. But that's just why I got involved in it, so I could learn more about it. I like to learn. So I'm industry and consumer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
They didn't make you fill out any formal paperwork? When I became a brand ambassador a long time ago in a galaxy far away, the rep was like, "Oh, you're gonna sign this thing." I mean, it was a little bit more corporate than Espinosa. I know it's corporate, but you know what I mean. It was a little, and also it was probably social media wasn't a big presence as it is now, for sure. At that time, and they would send us sticks, and we would go out and we would kind of educate our sphere groups, right? Our peer groups or sphere groups, and educate them about the blend and talk to them and say, yeah, well, they send me, and they even went as far as sent me like sheets. Like it was pretty rowdy, you know what I mean? And then they wanted to know, like, anytime I did an event for any type of nonprofit or anything like that, they wanted to be the cigar, and it was super cool. It was super cool, and I think that from a retail side, I really think that brand ambassadors. I mean, everyone's sure on social media they can be a brand ambassador. I get that, but I mean, like true brand ambassadors who have access to set up events or access to the sticks and what's up and coming and whatnot. I think a lot of the smaller type cigar companies would do well for that, for sure. and also some of those classic facings can get people back involved because, you know, as consumers, the market's flooded, right? Let's face it. We walk into our particular cigar shop, or if we go online. I mean, we have the pick of the litter, right? And if you're not buying for your whole week, chances are you're going to frequent that cigar shop 2-3 times a week, even if it's once a week. You're going to buy your 2 sticks. Now, think about that. If you walk into a retail side and they have 200 facings, right, and you're going to choose 2 sticks, like, what's it going to be, right? And there are a lot of factors that play into that, right? The humidor worker saying, you know, if someone wants this stick and they're out or they don't carry it, you know, it's up for them to turn them into a happier customer and kind of educate them. And I've felt in my experience over the past eight years or so that has gone down. You know, like where they're truly going to the retailer and doing that. Now, there are some shops that do it very, very well, and there's some shops that actually do it poorly. But I think that at least here in the Northeast, I hardly ever hear from brand ambassadors. Are there other versions of you? Is that more relevant in your culture down there over in Texas?
A little bit. I agree, though. I would like to see more, you know, in-person brand ambassadors. Really, mostly it's social media.
Right.
And, you know, it's free advertisement. And it's the word that has come up lately is influencer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's along the line of brand ambassador, more of an influencer through social media. Mm-hmm. As far as, you know, lately in this day and age, that seems like what it has evolved into. So you've got to do it right. You've got to do the little @ symbols, you know, the company, the brand, the rep, the shop, all that. If you just do hashtags, that doesn't really do anything. Hashtags really aren't as, you know, influencing as putting the actual @ symbol and then whoever you're trying to attract the attention to. So
I'll be honest
for hashtags.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If I have friends who post, I'm making it up, right? 8 hashtags, right? You know, BOTL, blah blah blah, and I'm wicked cool, and
that's so general, though.
But here's my point, right? As a consumer, I'm scrolling up or down, depending on which app I'm using, right? I'm like, I'm not reading all your hashtags. Right. Like, I saw your picture. If I like the stick, I'm gonna click. Boom. Yeah, I like it. Cool. If not, adios. And you know, some influencers go overboard on that stuff. Some don't. You know, I guess it depends on personality there. But I'm, you know, like true ambassadors. Like I remember a time pre-social media where, you know, we had like fans of the brand, right? And a classic case of that. It's top of mind awareness for me, right? Yesterday, the Humidor Cigar Shop had a Christoph event, right? They were launching the JT series. Now JT is our buddy Jared. Like, we've known Jared forever pre-Christoph, right? And here's the point. When Jared was at a regular event for Christoph and Glenn Case was there a long time ago, Glenn Case had some trivia questions and he had some really super cool swag, right? Here's the point of my conversation. If you got the trivia question right, you got like a really like unique 685 Woodlawn, which was like named after like Glenn Case's address, right? And those at the time were not in regular production. They were event sticks, etc. So you got some super cool swag. And Jared actually got, and I'm making it up, right? 6 questions right out of the 10, right? And so Glenn kind of pulled him aside and they were talking. And like Jared was such a brand ambassador for Christoph. And then what happened was, you know, Glenn was talking about considering bringing an inside rep for Christoph. And he was like, you know, give me a year, blah, blah, blah. I got to work out some stuff. And then it's led to that. And now he's like regional vice president or whatever his title is, in charge of all the sales reps. And he's traveling all around the U.S. and the world to represent Christoph Cigars. And that's what a brand ambassador had that potential many years ago to really be close to the company, to really be the boots on the ground for the company, and to really focus on that. And I don't know why. I mean, I do know some of the legal reasons why, right? You know, you can't pass out cigars and to promote a brand.
Right.
Some
Changed a lot.
some retail version. Some retailers might not like it because that person who's going to come and buy two, if you give them one, now he buys one, and you're taking out there. And you know, I have mixed feelings about that subject too. And definitely not to go off on a rant, but you know, it's like I don't know, like a true ambassador can really help a company build that top of mind awareness. And if the fact that you're doing it around cause marketing, right? You know, the Cigars for Warriors or any other type of things, it's just a great move. And I think that you know, more companies should definitely reach out and do that more. You know, at least here in the Northeast,
Right.
I know one. Like, I mean, how many cigar companies are there out there? I know one brand ambassador, and he's terrible. You know, but yeah, what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do?
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting as well. But so, you know, when I was listening to some of the this past IPCPR interviews with some of the cigar manufacturers, you know, some of them were like, "Yeah, we're going to go away from the brand ambassador and do an influencer, more reach out with people who are influencing through the social media platform." But I also, for me, it's like, okay, so if I'm walking into this hobby, you know, and that's a word that's used around in our industry, when people are getting into the hobby, you know, it's important to have that person out there to help with questions, get a different aspect of the cigar or the cigar industry or the cigar culture and things of that nature. And it's kind of cool to have all that information out there, and then you can just kind of depict, you know, what that individual is acquiring in knowledge. Also, for me, I've talked with a lot of people recently in the industry, and they were like, yeah, if I can just find someone, you know, to do this and help us grow, you know, that'd be great. I'm like, well, there's people out there that smoke cigars,
right,
who through their own venue have earned, you know, just like myself. I mean, 10 years ago or over a decade when I started smoking cigars, I didn't ever envision myself becoming a brand ambassador. But I was just talking to Brenda this morning. I said, you know what? I think I'd like to go down that road a little bit and just see what that's like, so I can get that experience as well.
Yeah.
But then also further educate, you know, our listeners, further educate myself most of all, and then help other people who want to come into this culture understand it a lot better, because there's still that little stigma out there, like, well, if I go into the cigar lounge to just walk in and buy a cigar and walk out, am I invited in to sit in their lounge and enjoy the stick? And as I tell a lot of customers that I meet here at Prestige that haven't been here, you know, I tell them, yeah, come on in, you know, come in, sit down, take an hour, 45 minutes, whatever time you have, and see what it's like.
Right.
And so with the ambassadors, customer relations at our front POS, you know, when the sales are being made, you know, I know Naomi makes it a point to allow them to come by, not only get out, but hey, go ahead and sit down, grab a beverage out of the refrigerator. We're a view, but most of the time we have some waters and soft drinks and things of that nature that they can enjoy. Water, different waters, but it just allows them to really understand what this is about. And that's one thing that intrigued me with Brenda when we were talking. I wanted to find out, you know, how do women perceive that at this point? You know, how is it? How do they feel intimidated? Are they? I've seen some women come in with their husbands. I know my wife, so she walks in, she'll sit in here for about 30 minutes, and she's like, okay, I got to go outside.
Sure.
But even my wife now, she's like, hey, that's pretty cool. It's kind of to sit there. When I brought her near our cigar lounge members, they spoke with her. I mean, it was just kind of nice to hear her perspective at home one evening when she, oh, that's pretty cool. She goes, I get your hobby. I get why you like to go to the lounge and there and have a cigar. She goes, it took away that curiosity. It's just like what they're really talking about.
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it totally does.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that I know next door, as well as some other shops here in the Northeast, they have ladies' night. I think it's super cool. There is a growing presence of ladies. I think it adds to the diversity of the culture. I also think it expands the audience, and I also think it keeps the vendors on their toes as well, right? Because like Brenda said, you can't assume that all the ladies are gonna like mild or some of the kind of coffee flavor, all the flavor. They can. I know some women who have some pretty rowdy palates that are stronger than some of my friends. You know what I mean? And I also think it keeps the manufacturers on their toes to open up that flavor profile for when they're trying to create a flavor profile to appeal to both men and women. And I think it's super cool that more women are getting involved there. And then the final takeaway, until we switch topics about the Wildfire group, for the companies out there that say, we're going to go the influencer route and all that stuff, who says you only have to do one, right? It's like I go through this every day. I go through this every day in my day job, right? It's like, oh, well, we're doing this marketing now, and this is where we're focusing on. And I'm like, well, why can't you do both? You know what I mean? Like, just because you go on television doesn't mean that your phone's going to ring, or just because you go on radio, or, you have to have multiple touch points that reach your target audience. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of industry, this is not a cigar industry talk. This is a business 101 talk. You need multiple touch points. Right. Now, I know that there are rules out there, and I'll get email, send it away, joeh@stogiegeeks.com, saying, I don't know the rules. You can't pass out cigars against the law, or FDA, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. But you can be a brand ambassador with your peers outside of a cigar shop, have an event, maybe for a nonprofit, do some community good and smoke a cigar and call it a day. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta be creative, and you gotta be part of whatever cause that you want to do. And I get that all the time. You know what I mean? Oh, we don't want to advertise on Stogie Geeks. We're gonna go with Cigar Aficionado. Well, good luck with that. You know what I mean? Like, freaking, happens all the time, and you can do both. And you can do both for sure, So Brenda, the Wildfire Ladies Cigar Society.
Right.
Give me a visual. Give me and the listeners. It's funny because
a lot of the things that you've already said ties into Wildfire. So Jennifer is the founder of, and it spun off from another cigar society we were in because it was mostly men, and the women get kind of lost in that shuffle. And we were all single women, so it's not like we were wives being brought in, by their husbands. Sure. We actually were real cigar smokers, right? And whiskey, scotch, stuff like that. But so we met on a different night of the week, and it was her concept when she developed this was a place for women to be comfortable, to come to have cigars with other women in case that was an environment that worked better for them, instead of being maybe intimidated going into a cigar shop with just a bunch of men. So she had several points that she did this on, which is we move around to a different shop every month. So we support our local brick and mortar. We don't have just one shop to go to. We go to a different one every month. So, but any woman is welcome to join us at any level of their cigar journey that they're on, whether they're just starting or never smoked, or they've been smoking longer than I have. Some of them have been smoking for 20 years and come and join us. And then we've evolved a little bit since I've been doing it, and I've added things like almost every month I have a cigar brand come in. So it's kind of like a little mini ambassador in person there.
Yep.
Because I'm bringing a cigar brand in. Sometimes I have the owner, sometimes I have the rep, and it's an opportunity for those women to talk and discuss cigars, especially that brand, if they want to learn more about it, and talk to them in person and have that little intimate one-on-one time instead of at a big event. Don't get that time to talk to someone in a more personal level, that one-on-one time. So we bring that in. They also get to visit all the shops, so that way they feel comfortable. They can go to those shops without me. They don't need the group to go back to that shop if they enjoy it. And I've had women come up to me and say, oh my God, I'm so glad we went to, this shop, because I realized it was by my work, and I go in there now and I can sit down. I feel comfortable. I can sit down and have a cigar and go pick me one up and cut it and light it. And, I feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that has evolved out of that. So
yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of a story in my business life. The local Chamber of Commerce that I'm a member of has a group. It's called We Bond. It's like women entrepreneurial business on, I don't know, demand or something like that. I'm butchering the name. I've never been to a meeting, right? But it's great. No, it's great because there are a lot of women entrepreneurs who, they either got laid off from a job or they were home and now they're out there starting a business. And they're women entrepreneurs, and then they enter a Chamber of Commerce, and it's everybody in a suit except for me. But it's a bunch of men in a suit hanging out, hanging out, drinking the 2-drink on a drink tickets, talking about business. And so when WeBond started, it was actually super cool because they had educational seminars about, QuickBooks and different educational components, how to fill out paperwork with the state and all that stuff. And now, as a executive board member of that chamber, I can tell you that there are more women on the board than men. There are more women at the events than men there. And probably, this is my estimate just from observation, right? But probably 70% of the activity of the chamber, the catalyst is the woman, going to the women, the ribbon cuttings and reaching out to a new business and doing the daily delivery or any type of fundraiser and all of that stuff. And as a member of that organization, Chamber of Commerce, since I was 24, so 20 years now, right? I've seen that metamorphosis change, and I think it's super cool. Definitely.
We have buying power.
Yeah, of course you do.
Very high buying power.
And not only do you have buying power, you are making sure that the manufacturers are going to you're going to create enough noise for them to pay attention to your palate and for them to just create hopefully better and newer products, non-FDA, right? Hopefully better and newer products for all of us to enjoy. You know what I mean? I can't wait for the first person that we interview on Stogie Geeks and says, when we were rolling this blend, we were thinking of, the first one to have the Cooliones to admit, we were thinking of women for this. And this blend of Honduras, blah, 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 or whatever, we think that, and the first one that does that, they might be category king for the woman audience. You know what I mean? A little bit of hate.
What? That might be happening in the near future.
It should. It should.
I will let you know.
It should. Like if I was in charge of a cigar company, I would say, some questions that I really got to get more in the habit of asking is asking if we get the owner in, asking who's their buying persona. You know what I mean? Who smokes this cigar? Is it meant for the white collar, blue collar, everyone? What type of palate? You know, instead of saying, you know, it's a medium, it's a full, you know, if you can only smoke this if you've been smoking for a year or high, like what are you creating and why are you creating it? And please don't use the word passion. You know what I mean? Like, totally tell me you're doing it for this audience and get out there and put yourself out there and go for it. And if you have a project like that in the making, definitely keep Drew and I abreast of that. We'll get you an interview and get that person an interview for sure, because I really think that it's time to do that, you know. I promised some women I know in the industry to mention this. When they found out this morning that you were on, I got 3 emails. All right, so they were like, "You having a woman on?" Yeah, they would go, "You having a woman on?" I was like, "Yeah." Ask them why, and this is not a question for you, right? This is a question for the industry,
right?
Because the industry stays very close to this show, that's for sure. Ask the woman who emailed me. Ask them why, when there's a rep on the road and there's a guy who's the humidor manager and there's other 3 workers working, depending on their cadence. Ask them why they give cigars to the guys and not the woman worker. And I says, that's a fascinating question. I said, who does that? She told me. I said, okay, I'm not going to say anything, I promise, right? But it's like really,
right.
like they're a worker in there, and they're your best line of defense if you want to get in the humidor. Because if you start to you know, I don't want to say shun them, but not really treat them as an equal in the industry, you're really shortchanging yourself as a business. You know what I mean? For sure.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's great.
It's happened to me. I've been to it, and, you know, the cigar rep or whatever at the didn't speak to me, didn't ask me if I needed help, anything. So I have definitely seen that happen. I've had to assert myself and approach them and ask.
Yep.
So
I can totally relate to the mission of the Wildfire Ladies Society, because it reminds me of a program that I did in my radio days, right? I was a single guy, right, at the time. And in my radio days, I did a Wine of the Month club for the radio, right? For the radio, and it was at a specific restaurant.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I got to sip wine with 50 women every month. You know what I mean? Because I was the host. And
that's great.
You know what I mean? So I hats off to the single ladies out there creating that and whatnot. You know, because I'm just imagining. I'm not asking it. And if you want to offer up any type of information, you're more than welcome. But if you put guys in the room, single ladies, cigars and scotch, there has to be some matchmaking in there. You know.
Either that, they're not all single.
I know. Either that or some fist fights. But
we do have a lot of But we do have a fans, you know, guys that follow us and they show up to our event, and you know, we allow it. They can come in. It's a public place, so they can and also bring the cigar brand in. It's kind of like an informal cut and light for them.
Yep.
So it's a win-win for everybody. It's on a Tuesday night. They get some extra business. Women get a chance to have some fellowship together, but the guys can come in and they can participate in the cut and light. But what you were saying a minute ago about the cigar rep and the women, it's things like when I bring the cigar brand in to our event, I'll tell the or the owner or whatever, whenever another woman walks in that's with my group, I'm like, hey, you know, can you take her to the humidor and go show her your cigars? So I try to bring everybody together and give them that opportunity. Here's this woman just came into my event. You know, she doesn't know anything about your cigar. Would you like to take her to the humidor and show her what you got, or you have a special tonight, or you know, whatever? So I try to get that interaction going.
Mm-hmm. Right. What's your take on the industry in general, not only as it applies to women, but like in general, like well, what do you think the future holds non-FDA? Because I'm done talking about the FDA, because we're going to be talking about it by 2023. So, you know.
I know. That's the thing, though. It's changing.
Yep.
There's just a lot of changes going on, and does have to do with that. But it's just a lot of changes. So
Yep.
I hope everything continues on the way it is. Because the way that I came into this is that it crosses all boundaries. You know, it brings people together. For a good time, you know, good conversation, or you just enjoy it by yourself. You know, my best time is on my patio with coffee.
Yep.
Early in the morning or late at night, whatever. So, but I really would like to see how I was introduced to it, which is it encompasses everybody of all backgrounds, everything, and brings people together for good reasons. Lots of networking and connections and things like that. But that's what I would like to hope that it continues on that route, that it all, to me, what it's shown to me, it's always has been.
Yeah, I think the networking and connections will stay the same. I think industry-wide, we're going to see a lot of consolidation of brands.
Yeah.
You know, we're just going to see a lot of consolidation brands, you know.
Yeah, we're seeing that almost. I'm going to say once a week. I always read about something from Half Wheel or Cigar Aficionado about being consolidated and things of that nature. And that's why I always forward or share that news on my Facebook page at Drew Galvin Prestige on Facebook. But it's one of those things, again, for me as well, is that I want to keep everybody, our listeners on Stogie Geeks, everybody in general. I have a lot of followers that are, you know, from all over the world, are, you know, they like that information coming out and being shared so that they can understand what's going on in the industry live, you know, what's happening this week. And so, you know, I've made relationships with these larger, you know, with all these different platforms, just so that I can, you know, forward that out there and help that, and, you know, help our industry understand where we're going. You know, and also working with our senators that are in the fight or in the process of helping the cigar industry get, you know, separated from that OTB product. But it's cool because I'll tell you, I was sharing with Brenda, I said, it's nice to walk into our lounge here and see a mix of women and men. And we're talking sports, we're talking whatever, and share stick, and they're wanting to know what we're smoking, you know, what we like about it. And just, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, they're wanting to know what I'm smoking.
Yeah, they're wanting to, exactly. We always, the women here, what are you smoking? And it's.
I'm not asking y'all what you're smoking. Y'all are asking me what I'm smoking.
Yeah.
We watch the fights almost every Saturday night. A lot of time. We watch a lot of UFC fights.
Yep. Yeah. And having the presence of women at events brings a certain better appreciation of the industry and the openness of the industry for if anyone has walked into a retail cigar shop, male or female, there is that reluctance, especially if they're not familiar with the culture. And I can tell tell the Stogie Geek listener, you know, if you're the Stogie Geek listener who buys your sticks online and you haven't had a chance to go to a retail cigar shop, and, you know, you're really missing out on friends that you'll meet for a lifetime. And you're really missing out on some great conversation, good or bad, right? but it's great conversation, right? You know, I personally don't talk politics, sex, religion, or Yankees, Red Sox, baseball. Like, that's my, you know, that's my cigar shop boundary there. Like, even yesterday when the Yankees clinched the division, just FYI for you Stogie Geeks, when the Yankees clinched the division, they were like, "Oh, your Yankees are gonna clinch." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, you know, but you know, they've had a pitching problem for the past 19 years, and you know, we'll probably get picked off by the first round anyway. And I kind of end it because I know that if it's coming from a Red Sox fan, they always did a thing. Or if we stop, or let's switch it right from sports, politics, like especially now with the political culture, I have never seen in my lifetime the gap of the division of which side you're on, doesn't matter, pick one, I really don't care, right? It's so bigger. Like, there are some people who cannot stand current administration, and there's some people who can really stand current administration. Growing up as a kid, or in college, there was a vast in between. You know what I mean? The vast in between where they would jump party lines, and now it's really divided, and and then that trickles into other things. And I've had people ask me, that blah 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 spoke again. I said, dude, I was like, I don't talk politics, sex, religion. No, come on, seriously. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, you want to talk about something else, anything else is on the table. You want to talk about my family, even that's on the table. But I'm just not going down that path. And I think you'll have a wicked good time, as we say here in the Northeast. You'll have a wicked good time at a cigar shop if you don't talk politics, sex, or religion. So absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Most definitely. I know with our clients here, we just kind of, if the members that are here, we just have the 3 rules. Not 3 rules, just guidelines.
Yep.
What to do and what not to do.
Sure.
Because we have people with strong opinions and very passionate, and I know that word is so overused.
Yeah.
And they it comes out, and here in our lounge, anyways, it's funny because we all pick on each other like brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
That's definitely pretty cool. So, but otherwise, we definitely do that. I know the UFC nights, it's pretty rowdy. I mean, not rowdy in here, but it's pretty cool because, it's interesting that and I'm not saying that, I know my wife doesn't like watching UFC or boxing because she said it's too bloody, but, everybody else that comes to the lounge here, they all know the fighters, they know their word, and everybody can, kind of take little jabs at each other. If you have a favorite, it's pretty cool, to have that brother and sister camaraderie together.
Yeah, so. It really becomes extended family. It really, exactly. I cannot tell you how many times we're sitting around a cigar shop and somebody's like, oh man, we lost power and I got to move my generator, or we lost power, my generator doesn't work, so I got to go buy a new generator. And like people, like this one's a plumber, electric, whatever the case, and we're like, boom, and we go and help them. Or, oh man, I got to move this big piece of furniture. And it's just so cool. It's like, I remember, when I moved, it was like all my cigar buddies hanging out and smoking cigars, moving in, you know what I mean? And my girl's like, our house smells like cigars. The windows will be open. We got free labor. We're good. Keep going. Keep it moving. You know what I mean? Keep it moving. Because we're smoking cigars and then doing that there. So, yeah, absolutely. And you're also a brand ambassador. And Brenda, before we wrap up this segment and get on to Sticks of the Week, I want to invite you, if you want to stick around. If you want to stick around for the next segment, if you have time, Brenda, Drew and I are going to burn through some Sticks of the Week. No pun intended. We're going to burn through some Sticks of the Week that we've been smoking. So if you want to stick around, and if you want to think of a couple sticks that you want to describe, you're more than welcome to join in. If you want to chime in on our conversation, you're more than welcome to join in. I'm just trying to get your brain going so you know what's coming up. Yep, I got you.
Right.
And then you are an official brand ambassador for Rockefeller Cigars.
Right.
Over there. So how are they doing down in Texas? Because here they do well if Kevin's in town. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with other cigar companies. Like when
right.
and I think it's super cool that, he's trying to potentially build something that's not revolved around him. You know what I mean? Which is a smart business move for sure, But like but it's not a testament to the smaller batch cigars. Even with the classic facings, if that rep is not around, they're not building that top of mind awareness, regardless of social media or influencer marketing and stuff like that. So
I agree.
So like he's in. I'm making it up. Probably 18, 20 shops out of the 38 here in Rhode Island. So he's got good numbers here. You know what I mean? It's just
he does.
They fly off the shelf when he's hanging around the shop. He can't clone himself.
Yeah.
So take us through some of the efforts, and if there's anything you want to sneak out that's coming out new from Rockefeller for us, you're free to talk about that as well.
Well, the new one was the Dominican Blue, so that's a cigar out of the DR. So that's the new one that we just introduced at the show. But I do agree, and he's not the one where it's better when he's around. So he comes to Texas about 5 or 6 times a year, and we go around to all the different shops and have events and so forth. He's working on building up in other areas in Texas and the surrounding states. He does do very well on the Northeast, so I do understand that because that's where he is all the time.
Right.
But we're working on it. It's in the process, so of trying to get more shops here in Texas and Arkansas and so forth. So,
right.
But it is something that we are working on. He's going to be on here next month. So probably a couple times before the end of the year, we'll go down and we're going to go around and do some events here.
That's cool. Available next door is the Connecticut and the Gold Series. And I've had both. I'm smoking the Rockefeller Gold Series now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely enjoy this cigar. And now that you mentioned that newest cigar, I had the opportunity to have that when it was unbanded. And he was like,
"Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?" And he was like, "Oh, it's coming soon."
One shot, one kill.
He goes, "Oh, it's coming
Steve.
soon."
Joe.
You know what I mean? He goes, "Oh, it's coming soon," and I really think that new one's going to be a very big hit for him, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's great, and it's great, and I love to see improvements as well. Like when, and it's not that the original product was bad at all, but when it gets on another level with that new cigar that was released, I think it's super cool, and it shows a lot of potential growth for the company. So I wish you and Kevin the best of luck with that project for sure down in Texas. Absolutely. Cool. Drew, you have any other questions for Brenda, or are we moving on to Sticks?
No, we're on to Sticks. That was Jeff. He was just saying good afternoon from Texas.
He could have said good afternoon from Texas. Anyway, when we come back, Drew and I are going to talk about the Sticks of the week. Brenda's going to stick around. You don't want to miss the second segment. What's up, Stogie Geeks listeners? Joe Zemper here, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, a.k.a. the Italian Stallion, telling you about a little giveaway that we have going on. We've teamed up with our sponsor, J.C. Newman, this year to give back to the Stogie Geeks listener. They've been such an awesome partner so far. They've decided to give away one Diamond Crown Humidor per quarter to the winner that they choose. All you got to do is log on to stogiegeeks.com/Diamond Crown. Click on the enter to win button. It's really that easy. So if you're smart and you want an awesome humidor for your home collection, go to our website, stogiegeeks.com, find that banner ad right on top, click on it, and register to win that humidor. Good luck. Welcome back to episode 306 of Stogie Geeks. I am your host, Joe Zemper. It is time for the Sticks of the Week. But before we do that, I just want to introduce Plasencia Cigars to the show. They are now a partner with us here at Stogie Geeks. Plasencia Cigars is one of the world's leading growers of first-class tobacco. They have been pioneers in the industry since 1865. 5 generations of the Plasencia family have continued in the legacy over in Nicaragua and Honduras. Today, the Plasencia family's very own cigar line, led by CEO and master blender Nesta Plasencia, produces over 40 million handmade cigars each year. Plasencia Cigars celebrates their Nicaraguan roots through their premium Alma series, inclusive of complex blends, the Alma Fuerte, the Alma del Campo, and the newest release, the Alma del Fuego, each harvested in the pure soils of Nicaragua. If you want to find out more about Plasencia Cigars, all you have to do is go to stogiegeeks.com, click on the banner ad at the top. You can find a retailer near you and definitely check them out. I'm super excited personally to have them on, as I am a fan of the Plasencia line for sure. And for you Stogie Geeks listener who wants to hear a fascinating interview, type in Plasencia, and I had the opportunity and the privilege and the honor to interview Nesta Plasencia, and that was a super awesome interview as well. So Plasencia Cigars, thank you very much for joining Stogie Geeks. And we have a live via Zoom meeting. We have Drew, and Brenda is sticking around for Sticks of the Week. Ladies first. Brenda, would you like to discuss a stick that you kind of go to?
Oh, now y'all already had stuff planned out.
I gave you one in the second segment.
Preparation on this. Come on.
If you don't want to go ladies first, that's fine. I'm coming back to you then.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, Drew, what have you been smoking? Or can I pick it first?
Yeah, go for it.
I want to go with the Big Poppy because the Yankees clinched the division.
Right. And I got a lot of Angel fans in my family, and so the S talking hasn't started yet, but I'm pretty sure that loss put that to rest. So Big Poppy, let me get to my chair, my teleprompter.
You have electronic notes now? You have electronic notes? Wow, look at this.
Sure, yes I do.
It's only been week 4, and here you are.
Yeah, I'm working. I'm getting it done. So Big Poppy, here we go. So, well, I thought here we go. Hold on one second. Okay, where'd it go? Sorry about this. Where'd it go? My prompter is terrible. Or actually, my cell phone.
Okay, you find the Big Poppy. I'm jumping in. I had the Brick House Traveler. The Brick House Traveler is a product from our sponsors, J.C. Newman Cigars, full disclosure. The size is a 6 1/8 by 48. The wrapper is a is from Nicaragua. Nicaragua. Whoa, Bloody Mary's going good. Wrapper binder filler are from Nicaragua. The strength is a medium. I've always been a fan of the Brick House. Super fan of their marketing. When they first started, it was give us $5 and a comfortable chair. I've mentioned that previously on some of the other shows. Super fan of the marketing of that. stick. Super fan of that stick. It's a great stick to introduce a new smoker to. It's also a great stick for your friends that really don't really are not as fanatical as cigars as you are. It won't kill them. It's great. It's ultra tasty. I get a little bit of cocoa from there. I get a little bit of nut from there. Nicaraguan spice. To me, it's all in the retrohale if you're really trying to seek out that flavor, for sure. But in regards to that, I mean, you can't beat the price. Has to be box split for sure. That is the Nicaraguan Traveler, and it's available in tubes. So it's a great stick to take to a wedding. If you're outside, you put it on the inside pocket. You don't got to worry about, it getting all dented or frayed or whichever because of the delicacy of the cigar. If you find yourself, check out Brick House. They're a super cool brand at a super cool price, and you won't be disappointed.
Awesome.
Did you find your Big Poppy?
I'm going to jump into big. Oh, yeah, I'm going to jump into it. So, first of all, I want to say, Ortiz, I hope you're recovering well. I know that, that situation probably threw a curveball at you, but, hey, you got a lot of those from the Yankees back in the day. Here we go. Big Poppy by David Ortiz and Arturista Cigars. I had a 6x54. The wrapper's Ecuadorian Habano Claro. The vendor Dominican Criollo 98, and filler Dominican and Nicaraguan. The taste notes I got from this were in the first third were earthy and a sweet dark chocolate. Kind of tasted that throughout the first third of it. Then I went into the retro hail for additional flavors. So the additional flavors I got out of that was a coffee. It was toasty. Borders light to medium in strength. My Stogie that was a 5. Yep. This cigar, nice construction, very nice the wrapper when you look at it. Very nice construction. The veins were minimal. To me, this cigar burned very well, burned very even. I didn't have to touch it up all but once, and that was in my last third because I wanted to taste more of that coffee espresso flavor that I was getting the cold draw that I took of it before I lit this cigar up. I could definitely taste the cocoa coming through. For me, like I said, good cigar. I definitely would rate it a 5. This cigar you could put in your humidor, buy 5, put in your humidor, and go to it maybe once every other few weeks or month or whatever your smoking repertoire is. But definitely a pretty good cigar. I was impressed with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I reviewed the Big Poppy when it first came out here. I thought it was okay. I certainly didn't like the size. Packaging was super cool. There. Yeah. I tried to be unbiased as a diehard Yankee fan. And given the Gary Sheffield with Rocky Patel a better review, had nothing to do with the Yankees at all. But at that time when I had that cigar, I thought it needed a little bit of age. And to be perfectly candid with you, I didn't go back to it. I'd agree. I did give it a 5, a try one on the show. You know what I mean? I gave it a try one. I wasn't ultraly impressed. And if you go back in the episode, I believe I called it a bunt. So sorry, but but I just I tell it how it is, and there, and I've asked, I have some listeners from different shops that ask me my opinion on stuff, or some give me their opinion on some cigars. And there are some next door there, so I might grab one and kind of rekindle it there. But I can't imagine, even with the age on it, for me it going above a 5 either. You know what I mean? But at the
Exactly.
time,
Hey, I got a question.
I did give it a try one. Go
Awesome.
ahead.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
So is Mariano coming out with something, or did I hear something about he's involved with Mariano Rivera?
Oh, Mariano Rivera. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about endorsement when it comes to cigars, right?
Right.
I can tell you, as a true Yankee fan, and in a galaxy far away and a long time ago, I had the opportunity to run into Gary Sheffield, Derek Jeter, and Bernie Williams at McFadden's in Baltimore. So, So I'll give you a visual, right? I'll give you a visual. We go to McFadden's, little Irish chain type thing, right? A little Irish bar, quote unquote, right? And we're at the it's called the power plant. It's like a pier. I don't know if you've ever been to Camden Yards, right? Phenomenal baseball field.
I have.
Baltimore is truly the charm city. You get the southern charm with the northern hustle and bustle. Baltimore, that whole Camden Yards area is so awesome. If you're not even a fan of the Orioles, I get it, sure. If your team is playing there, make a pilgrimage there. First of all, the stadium is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Long story painless, because I could do an episode on this, right? We're down at the power plant. We have dinner and we're hanging out, and you could smoke cigars after 10, right? So we had a 9 o'clock dinner. 10 o'clock comes. People light up their cigars. It's in Baltimore, so the weather's a little bit better here than New York and Rhode Island and Mass, right? So they open up the sliding glass windows, and we're smoking cigars and hanging. And then all of a sudden, I'm just talking to the people I'm with, right? We all went for a guys' weekend. And, like, people started crowding us, right? And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, and I wasn't, like, paying attention because I was paying attention to who I was smoking a cigar with and enjoying their company. And lo and behold, at the table next to us was Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, and Derek Jeter. And so I turn around and I'm like, hey, good game. Because we were going to see them, right? I actually went to Baltimore. I said, hey, good game. I saw you today. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow over at the matinee. It was a Saturday night. And I says, you want a cigar? And Derek Jeter said no, but Bernie Williams said yes. And Bernie Williams said yes. So I don't really know much about Mariano Rivera's personal life or even other personal life. Like the only reason why I know a lot about Bernie Williams' personal life is because as a Yankee fan, number one, I was totally pissed at how they handled his last year. He wanted league minimum. Right. He wanted league minimum and wanted to retire a Yankee, and the organization said no. I became extremely disappointed at that. But I actually followed Bernie Williams from going to Berklee College of Music. He's a musician. He's a phenomenal blues guitarist. So he kind of looks like Hootie because he's got his tucked Yankee hat and he's shredded. He kind of looks like Hootie in the Blowfish, right? Playing. For those of you Stogie Geeks listeners who are in your 20s, you might not know who Hootie and the Blowfish are. Throw them in Google. Anyway, right? So, Bernie took a cigar and Derek Jeter didn't, and who knows? So I don't know, but it's pretty easy to get a celebrity endorsement. I've heard rumors of that company with the Big Papi name and all of that stuff, and I'm not going to go down that path. But I really have not heard that Mariano Rivera is going to kick off a cigar.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know. Like we actually at the end of IPCPR, one of the other ones we got was Clara Malone, and we'll talk about that later. But it's interesting that a lot of these past players are now coming in and and having a cigar manufactured around their interest. Even when I was watching the Pro Football Hall of Fame this past just a couple, I think about a month ago, I saw some of the inductees that they had the cigars, and one of them, I think Reed, he was just talking about he's happy to get the trophy, or not the trophy, but the honor. But after this, he was going to go back and have his cigars and just relax. That was cool.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you in my radio life, I've done a ton of promotions with Ronnie Lepet. of the Patriots, the '86 Patriots. I was in a golf tournament with him. We totally kicked Steve Grogan's butt in golf. We finished 9 under par.
Nice.
Ronnie Lepet is a phenomenal golfer. And then I actually did a promo, and he jumps out of the car, and he was like, "Joey," he's like, "You have cigars?" Like I know Ronnie was a big cigar guy and stuff like that. So I've known a few from my radio and television dates and whatnot. But yeah, it's happening. I mean, it's a natural transition, right? If you look at stars or actors or former NBA players, they're getting into wine and spirits and whatnot. And, not for nothing, if they're really into that, I mean, they're human, right? Who the heck doesn't want to drink? You know what I mean? Some of them drank and did other stuff while they were playing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you got some money to kick around and you want to throw out a line, I know I did a promotion in my radio days with George Clooney's tequila and whatnot on Cigar Club Radio. I did a tequila and cigar episode and stuff like that. So I mean, it's quite possible that if he's into it, if you're sitting around in retirement and you're watching TV or you're hanging out, maybe he would get into that. You know what I mean? But there's also different levels. Like, are they going to get into it and do the blend, or is it going to be, hey, man, we want to produce a cigar, throw your name around it, and then release it? I mean, there's multiple approaches that a company can go for that approach. Having been in television radio, like, I remember when My Pillow sponsored my radio show, like, they gave me a pillow. Right. And I was like, I'm the type of, and I had my own promo code and all that stuff. And, I'm the type of person, like, I'm not going to endorse something unless I truly like it, right? So for you cigar manufacturers out there who are listening, and I've never solicited you a Stogie Geek sponsorship, probably means because I don't like your stuff, But anyway, moving on, but that's just me, and I'll tell you, I still use my pillow. I love that thing. That thing keeps you cool, and that thing is ultra cool. And if you have means to pick it up, go for it. But anyway,
I'm about to get my wife one of those.
Dude, they're pretty sweet. They're pretty sweet. I mean, and they last forever. You throw it in the washer and big bang boom. I had the David P. Ehrlich PLM series from MLB Cigar Ventures.
Mike Bellady.
Yes, Mike Bellady.
Mike's a good friend of mine. Love Mike.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He was actually my first cigar sponsor for Radio.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Because he lives nearby in Massachusetts. The Imperial was named after Newport. Right. My show was in the Providence Metro. Right. The whole tie-in. Super, super great guy. And it's actually led to the brand awareness for me to actually land here on Stogie Geeks. So it's pretty cool. Mike's a good guy.
He comes down to Texas.
He lives He lives it underground.
Always have a good time.
He lives it underground cigar shop. He comes from time to time. No way, man. He's doing very well at the hot spots: Atlanta, Georgia, Texas. He's doing very well. What is it? Don Wiggins, the owner of Underground. Super cool guy.
Yes, Don. Mm-hmm.
Always love to hear the stories Mike tells us and stuff like that. So yeah. We've had Mike here on the show multiple times, for sure. Anyway, this David P. Ehrlich with the PLM series, it is a Mexican San Andreas Maduro wrapper. It's a Nicaraguan binder from Esteli, and you have tobaccos in there with the filler. Primary tobacco from Esteli, and according to some notes, you do have some from the Dominican. This is the Maduro version of the original Tremont line for David P. Ehrlich. It's available in 5 different sizes: Churchill, Gordo, Toro, Robusto, and Corona. This particular review, I had the Churchill. It's 7 by 47. I've had it in every single size since it's been launched anyway, as a fan of the brand, except for Gordo. The 6x60 is really not my cup of tea there.
Right.
I think it's, Barry and Mike did a great job rekindling the David P. Ehrlich name. It's super cool stick. I get a little bit of saltiness, a really, I don't want to say harsh, a really big blast of pepper when you first light it up. You get some good pepper. After the first inch, it kind of mellows out, and you get kind of some really old school Nicaraguan tobacco nuances. There's a spice in there that really, I can't really put my finger on it, but it really lingers. It kind of lingers on my palate. So if I stopped smoking it and started talking like I was now, like I could like kind of feel that like on your palate. The smoke content seems to be a little bit thicker. It's a great burning smoke. If you have means to chase them down, you won't be disappointed with the David P. Ehrlich. Either the Tremont line or the PLM series. I've had people who know my history here local with Mike Bellady say that that's the best stick that he's made. It's so good. I tell them that they've changed factories from when they originally started, and then going there. So there's been a little bit of a change, not change factory within the stick, but change factory from when Bellady started and whatnot. But I would definitely give it a box split for sure.
Awesome.
It's super good.
That last PLM I had was great. I posted it for Mike. I got it from the ground, and I mean, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Great cigar.
Yeah, he does very well over at the Underground Cigar. And have you ever been to an event with him there?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been to the Waffle House with him at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, he's so okay. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah, no. All right. So your crew. So there you go. I got it. That's crazy how you and I never met. What else you been smoking, Drew?
I know, right?
We gotta pick up the pace on this.
All right, so I'm going to jump into the Oscar Valladares Superfly Toro 6x54. Price point about $10.50. A box of 20 costs you just a little bit over $200. They also come in the Corona and Super Gordo size. The cigar origin is Honduras. Strength is about medium, and this is from their site. The wrapper color Maduro. Wrapper Mexican and is Maduro color. Is Mexican San Andreas Maduro. The binder Honduras. There's a lot here. Filler Dominican Republic. A first for Oscar Valladares. They're handmade, and the taste on this I got for me was sweetness to it. I'm going to say right at the kind of a sweetness to it. The spice that came through was a little bit of cinnamon, so that was pretty interesting to have that transition on the first third. And then I went into the second third with, again, a dark chocolate with an espresso. And the espresso just lingering back there on the back of my palate, retro held it. And then on the I got a little bit of peppery. I'm going to say along the more lines of white. It wasn't as strong, but it was there.
Yep.
It was quite evident. It was, and then a little bit on the woody side.
Yep.
And then to finish this off, black pepper came through a little bit more on the retro hell, and then from there, the transitions throughout the cigar are modest. The aromas are great. My Stogie Geeks rating on this one was going to be a try one.
Really?
The band was beautiful. Yeah. I'm gonna. I guess because I like a really full-bodied cigar, it was for me. It wasn't I didn't think it was medium. I think it was more of a light on the lighter side, just underneath the medium.
Yep.
But that was just my palate. It could have been that
medium.
big.
I had one.
But for me, it just felt that way. And for me, I definitely give it a try one.
Really?
I think with aging a little bit, it'll definitely transition into a medium.
Yep.
The one I got probably was just, really, I guess. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Well, actually,
I've had one of them. I'd say it's a medium, but I would want to wait and let it age a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I like the one that I had.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
I agree with your description. Spot on. Right. You get that white pepper. It's all in the retrohale with that cigar, in my opinion. I agree with your description. Your rating is your rating. I get it. My note to the Stogie Geek listener would be, when you see that cigar and you can get past the super cool retro marketing, right? Because I think it's super cool. Like that cigar, no pun intended, it's groovy, right? That cigar is groovy. I look at that cigar and I want to tap my feet. I want to move my hands. I want to dance in the humidor. That cigar makes me want to groove. Makes me say, man, we need more people like John Travolta in our lives. You know what I mean? I'm talking Grease. I'm talking Grease and Boogie Fever, John Travolta. Not like the weirdos they all turn in when they stop flying planes and all that stuff, right? Like we need it makes me want to move, right? And I can attest that. I can attest that because our producer Johnny, when I open some of my humidors or they just go through them, Johnny pulls it out. It was either yesterday. It was either yesterday or it was Wednesday. I know it was this week. And he goes, "What's this?" He goes, "This label is so cool." I'm like, "I know, right?" I'm like, "It's super cool, right?" Johnny, I know you're listening. That was the Superfly, right? Yep, absolutely. Oh, okay, he says it was yesterday, right? So it's a blur here at Security Weekly. So now he thinks it's Wednesday. That's the blur, right? When you're doing 7 other versions of Stogie Geeks that are on a security level, you get a little wonky, right? So anyway, once I got past the marketing for the Stogie Geeks listener, you're gonna look at that and you're gonna say, "Oh my God, this cigar looks jet black. This cigar is gonna be super strong." It's really not super strong. It's not super strong. I agree with your assessment, Brenda. Total medium, absolutely. Drew's assessment, barely medium. Sure, there, but it's all in the retrohale. I believe I recently spoke about this cigar. I know it was above try one. I want to say either 5 for me, for sure. Yeah. Super cool stick. Yeah. Super cool company as well. I only know their stuff from my radio days, so it's 3+ years as to when they started out with the Leaf by Oscar and an Island Jim was involved and all of that stuff. Yeah. So again, to me, that cigar shows growth and a difference in their blends, which tells me that they're getting into experimental phase, which starts to fascinate me. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, for me,
I would still give it a 5.
Yeah, for me,
but yeah.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, for me, I think a little bit more. I think a little bit of Lajero, on that. It definitely would have did something different to that cigar. And that was just me kind of doing the research on that cigar. And I thought, okay, after I was done smoking it, I did a research on it. I'm like, yeah, a little bit more Lajero. I think it would have definitely hit that medium spot.
Sure. Maybe the age might make you spike up that rating.
Yes.
But
all right, I'm gonna have Nomi pull me some and put.
You like to save. You like Paul love to save cigars forever and then smoke them 5 years later.
Yeah.
I don't. So moving on. For you listeners at home, I'm about to talk about Davidoff. So we already know where this is going, right? Davidoff, Winston Churchill.
Okay, when you're ready, I got one to throw out at you too.
Okay, I'll be quick with this one.
I found one.
Awesome!
Go
Yay! I had the Davidoff Winston Churchill Late Hour Robusto. This is available in 3 different sizes: Late Hour Churchill, 7x48, Late Hour Toro, 6x54. I had the Robusto, which is a 5x52. It's available in boxes of 20. The wrapper is Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro. The binder is Mexican San Andreas. The filler is Dominican Republic with some Nicaraguan in there from Esteli for sure. It's super sweet towards the end. extremely salty and earthy towards the beginning. Retrohale gives you some good pepper. I had this first thing in the morning, even though it said late hour. Right? I had this first thing in the morning. I've smoked this cigar before. I'm just a fan of the brand for sure. And in my opinion, Davidoff is a treat cigar for you Stogie listeners. They tend to be on the kind of higher end there. I actually purchased these at a really good price in Little Havana last week, and I got my hands on some of those. But the late hour, I mean, it's what can I say? It's a Winston Churchill late hour. If you are celebrating something, anything, even just being September 20th, go get yourself a Davidoff late hour. I'm not gonna say box worthy because of the price. So I am saying box worthy because of the content, and it's super good. But the price could set you back a little bit. So maybe box split with a friend. But whatever your budget is, you should definitely try this one for sure.
Definitely.
All right, you have a stick. Let's do it. Ladies' choice.
All right. So I just wanted to tell you about this one. It's up and coming from my area here. It's a group of guys, headquarters in Dallas, Texas. And they have a cigar called Definition Cigars. So when they say, what is your definition? There you go. I love it. And you can get them from Underground. You can call Underground and they'll ship those out to you. That I have tried is the Nobility, which is their one from Nicaragua. They also have one from the Dominican as well. Mm-hmm. It comes in, it's a medium to full, the Nobility, which is more along the lines that I like. They have a Torpedo, box press Torpedo, Churchill, and a Robusto. Really nice little, I have like a paper band. And I don't want to say it's a ribbon. It's kind of, people wear it on their finger. It's like a little ring that you can put on. But they're really great guys, and they have really started to expand in the Texas market. They're at Art, Blow and Smoke, Canoma, Lasoa, Tobacco Cabana, and Underground. And they've also gotten out into some shops in Georgia, Louisiana, and Arkansas. One of the owners, Neo, he is a distinguished ruffian. So I had to try them as well.
Awesome.
But it's a good cigar. You should try it.
Sure.
Definition bars.
Brenda, I'm going to task you with getting them on the show. How about that?
We can do that.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
They're right here.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah. He can either meet you over at Prestige, and if you want to jump in or just coordinate that with Drew. It's funny because I'm looking at
we can do that.
I'm looking at the site as you said it and gone, and I've seen pictures of them too. Yeah. Yeah. We can coordinate that off air and definitely get him on for sure. It'd be good to
they would do that.
To hear to hear his perspective. So what would be now? Okay, what would be your rating now? I'll just briefly go through our rating system. You ready?
Yes.
Lawn mulch, which you would crumple it up and right. Angler, which means if you were fishing and it really sucked, you'd try one, which speaks for itself. Fiver, you'd buy 5. You know what I mean? Box split with a friend. Box worthy. Fight Chuck Norris or Oasis.
I'm gonna go with box split.
Box split. Okay, cool.
Yes, box split.
Yep.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And they're available in boxes of 20. Looks like on their website. Yeah.
You know what? I'd have to look it up. I don't remember what their boxes are. So.
Yep. So box split.
But
So
like I said, I know Underground has them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Underground is super persistent with the up and coming small batch stuff. They're
the king of boutiques.
I want to make a pilgrimage out there for sure.
Definitely.
It's on my cigar bucket list there. I don't know if an Italian kid from the Northeast can hang out with Texans. That might be tough. I'm gonna have to
Hey,
get
if Mike Melody can hang out there, you can't. Come on.
Mike Bellady. Mike Bellady is the king over there, from what I heard, or
Right.
at least one of the kings. You know, definitely.
Definitely.
The last cigar I want to talk about was the one that you brought up last week, Drew. It was the CAO Flathead V19.
Yes.
The CAO Flathead V19, Connecticut Broadleaf wrapper, Connecticut Habano, Nicaraguan filler. It's got a little bit of Dominican Palito in there. It's available in 2 sizes. It's a second to the initial offering of the Flathead series that CAO had came up with. It's available in a camshaft, which is 5.5 by 50, and a carb, which is a 6 by 60. I had the 5.5 by 50. I believe you gave this a $5. I didn't check my notes. Did you give it a $5 last week? I know.
I believe so.
Yeah, I know you spoke highly of it. I could not. I struggled with it. Not content. Not content. I just was like, whoa. And then when I got past the first inch, I was like, all right, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. And then I kept telling myself, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. And I just struggled with it. You know, I wouldn't give it a super low rating, but I wouldn't give it a try one either. I would just kind of, I would wait a little bit more before I rekindle it and throw it underneath the bus, you know. But I just,
there you go.
It just did not speak to me at all. I had a full stomach. Thank God I had a full stomach because if you smoke, I can picture like a newbie cigar person getting into all sorts of trouble trying this stick. You know what I mean? I can picture them. So, you know, I don't want to throw them underneath the bus at all because especially with something new and something that you spoke obviously higher than I did on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to vet this out to the Stogie Geek listener. If you had a CAO Flathead V19 and you want to write up a quick description, and you can go to stogiegeeks.com and see our rating system that's on the right-hand side on the bottom of the page. And if you want to flash me an email, joe@stogiegeeks.com, I will read your comments online. You can say that Drew is smarter than Joe is full of crap, or I agree with Joe, or whatever you want to say. I will read it online there. And I'm probably going to jump back into this stick in about 3 or 4 months. I'm not going to save it, but somewhere shipped to us here anyway from the company. Yeah. So I'll just, you know, see if it improved, you know.
Okay, there you go. And that's fair. I mean, like we tell all of our listener, everybody has a different palate. Maybe for me, I got that one unicorn.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But for me, it was something interesting. You know, and yeah, I did give it a $5.
Yep.
The last one my last one is the Block Dissident. So I don't know if you had these, Joe, Brenda. You had these?
Have you? Yeah. Wait, I have to see it.
Dissident.
I know it a bit, but I don't know if I've had that one yet.
I don't believe I did. No.
Okay. So this, again, my research on it as a relaunch by Benjamin Holt.
Yes.
Turned to James Brown, created a black label company, BLTC, and is Fabrica Oveja Negra in Estel. It's a Nicaragua to reblend the line, which includes the home, soapbox, and block names. So history on this cigar, 2019 Premium Cigar Association trade show had some of the new products to talk about. In the case of this cigars, as an old brand made new by Benjamin Holt, the original Dissident brand launched in 2018 by Neil Edwards and Jason Webster, who also owned the Humidor Cigar Lounge in Wichita, Kansas. This line was small, and for all intents and purposes, it went dormant in 2015. So Benjamin, who was the sales rep for the boutique Boutiques Unified, acquired the brand and relaunched it at the trade show this year. So this wrapper is an Ecuadorian Maduro. The binder is Ecuador. The filler Nicaraguan and Dominican. Strength on this high or medium to full body. The taste notes on this was a peppery. Definitely more of the black pepper came through on this one at the beginning, and then nutty and a little bit of oak. So those were I like those powerful combination that was there that I got from the cigar. Later on the second, third, cinnamon aromas. This cigar stayed consistent with the initial flavors, the initial notes that I got from it throughout the cigar. So my Stogie Geeks rating on this one is definitely a 5-er. And I think cigar as you go through their line, you'll find, and I haven't been through the other ones yet, but from what I read from other people, or what I've received emails from other people who have tried the cigar, they said that the brand itself has definitely matured and become more, a player in the industry. So we'll definitely see.
Did you get those when we were at Underground last week? So Underground has a really good sampler that they can put together of his whole line. So that's where I saw it at. And I hadn't tried it, but I got someone else to buy it. A sampler. So we do have a really good sampler of everything with the soapbox. And I love the lightning bolt on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at really the notes. Packaging. I'm looking at the notes here. I can tell you that I've never had this cigar. It has virtually no presence here from my experience, just in Rhode Island. I haven't been traveling outside of Rhode Island other than Florida over the past 4 months. So, and it looks like it got released at this year's IPCPR. So I'm not at liberty to say it's not here in Rhode Island. I just post IPCPR till current date. I just haven't been in enough shops to consider tracking it or kind of see it around. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have a broker working it here, and there's a couple of shops that really have it. I'll be on the lookout for it. I made a bookmark for it for me to get some.
I've already acquired you all their facings in their line, and I'll be sending those to you just to, so we can have a little sidebar with that.
Yeah.
And see where,
Yeah. So your rating was a 5-er.
Yeah, my rating was a 5-er. I'm a full body. I love the strength. I love the oak, man. Just the way it comes through and the way it wraps together with the sweetness in the second, third, and then come back to that oak. For me, it's like I wanted more of it, and it could have been just that time of day for me. But yeah, this cigar definitely for me was vibrant.
Nice. I'm interested. I just wanted to do one more.
Sure.
You had the Alec Bradley Gatekeeper Toro. On your list. I'm intrigued. Haven't had it at all. Yeah. Why don't we just do one more? Because I was intrigued about that one for sure. Just because I really haven't had it at all.
Okay. Definitely with that one there. It's a Alec and Bradley Gatekeeper Toro. Alec and Bradley, part of a collaboration with industry legend Ernesto Perez Carrillo. So this was a collab with these guys, with Ernesto. Those who know Ernesto, I mean, there's some fabulous cigars out there when he's behind it. The shape was a Toro. There was an Ecuador Habano, Dominican Republic cigar. The binder is Nicaraguan filler, Dominican and Nicaraguan. Man, you talk about a cigar that for me, I definitely had a box split on this one, but the earthiness of the cigar when you first light it, I mean, just let it burn, let it settle in, and then start hitting that cigar. The seed, the spice, And the spice on this one, I want to say, man, it's one of those, like you were saying earlier, you really can't put your mind to it away, but it came through more of a, I want to say a miss spice. And then the sweetness of cocoa together was just like, man, I mean, I was like, this is awesome. The citrus, for me, it was kind of a bit of a, I want to say kind of a, not orange, but it was just there teetering on that for me. And then the full body, definitely, like I said, for me, the full body came through. That's the nuttiness of it, the leather, and my Stogie Geeks rating on that one was a bottle. This cigar, definitely is one that I can definitely keep in my humidor and just go through a rotation again, probably about once every couple months.
Yep.
It's definitely an evening cigar for me. I took it home. Nomi saved one for me, or a couple of them, and then from there, it was definitely again an Alec & Bradley, to me, a success.
Yep. And the reason why I asked about that is because that one, which was the Gatekeeper Toro, and I don't know, I'm making it up. It's got a TV in the name, Television's Blind or something like that.
Yes.
I don't say I'm chasing them. If I come across them, I come across them, but
right.
I definitely want to try them. You know what I mean? And check them out. But the fact that you gave the Gatekeeper a box split really, really kind of piques my interest now more than the TV one. I'm drawing a brain fart. I'm not looking it up. Show's almost over. I'm out of Bloody Marys. And I got a 3:00 appointment Eastern Standard Time. So I'll chase that and find that. I'm going up to Queensbury, New York at Queensbury Tobacco and Pipe the 8th of October for their 25th anniversary party. I know they have Alec Bradley over there, so I'll be able to scoop that up. So I'll be able to do some shopping over there and stuff like that. Going to their 25th anniversary party, super cool. I'm excited about that as well. But yeah. Anyway, Brenda, thank you for joining us here on Stogie Geeks, and thank you for sticking around. And best of luck with the ambassador and the 5 children and your Wildfire Cigar Society and the Distinguished Ruffians. I'm gonna throw them into Google over the weekend and see what's going on locally with Distinguished Ruffians. I think it's all great causes, and I think that the efforts that you go and bring in multiple groups together for an event is definitely admirable, and I'm sure that the brands that you represent definitely respect your position, and I think it's super cool that you're getting the ladies involved for sure, because it'll keep all these manufacturers on their toes, because they better start catering to your palates or else, right? So thank you for joining us here on Stogie Geeks. Drew, as always, I'll talk to you over next week, and thank you for being on Stogie Geeks. Stogie Geeks listeners, thank you. Follow Drew and myself. Go to StogieGeeks.com. 306, my link, Brenda's link, and Drew's link is on there. Let's keep the conversation going. We'll see you next time.